Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now I just got back from vacation. I took the family down to San Diego and Phoenix for a couple of days, and for our first video of April, to kick things off with a bang here, we're going to be covering huge news from one of my favorite companies on the channel, none other than MLCL Holdings. So MLCL is involved in the Canadian infused cannabis beverage space. They just announced some big news yesterday that we're going to be covering in today's presentation, along with a number of other reasons why I'm so excited or bullish on this company moving into 2022. Now, before we get into it, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. It's a huge help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And let me know in the comment section below if you're currently holding shares of MLCL, what you thought about yesterday's news, and how you think this company stacks up to some of the other players in this space. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, I wanted to provide an update on MLCL Holdings Incorporated. This is a company we've followed fairly closely on the channel. I provided a number of updates on this company. I believe we initially started coverage about 4 months ago. The company was trading in the range of about 6.5 cents Canadian per share, and you can see they closed out yesterday's session up half a cent, or about 6.7%, to close the day out at 8 cents Canadian. So if you did initiate a position after our initial coverage, you should be feeling really good about that. Obviously, the stock market in general has had a lot of volatility over the past couple of months, and MLCL Holdings has actually held up very well. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out, in the middle of February here, you can see they closed out at a high of 10.5 cents Canadian. I believe on the intraday they were closer to 11 cents Canadian. So this company is performing very well, and they just announced some huge news that I wanted to talk about in today's presentation. Now, MLCL Holdings, for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with this company or brand, is really involved in the Canadian cannabis space, specifically infused beverages. They operate a very interesting business model. So initially, they were bottling or packaging for third-party cannabis companies. Now they're actually starting to develop their in-house suite of brands or suite of products, and that's really what today's news is focused on. So you can see on the company website here, MLCL Holdings Incorporated, quality crafted, branded cannabis beverages. MLCL is an industry leader in innovation, producing a superior portfolio of quality crafted, branded cannabis beverages within the consumer packaged goods or CPG sector in Canada. And this is a space we've talked about a lot on this channel. I really think this is the future of cannabis, you guys, and companies that are involved in these cannabis 2.0 or 3.0 derivative type of products, particularly beverages, which is a subcategory we've seen tremendous growth in over the last couple of quarters, are really going to bode well over the next couple of years. Now, if you continue to scroll down on this home landing page, you can see their portfolio of brands. So they've got Embody, Fresh, Canajo, which really emulates a coffee type of drink, and Klon. So this is really what the news is focused around. And with that being said, we're now going to move into the big news or update that just came out yesterday, April 5th. So you can see here from Newswire, MLCL Holdings Incorporated announces new SKUs available for purchase now with the OCS, or the Ontario Cannabis Store. And the reason this is so important here, you guys, MLCL is really focused on 2022 as their breakout year. They're expected to be cash flow positive in Q3 of this year, and expanding their SKU count and bringing new brands and new products to shelves is really their key focus at this point in time. That's going to allow them to grow revenue, achieve that positive cash flow milestone, and continue to gain market share in this very competitive space. And we're actually going to look at MLCL's percentage ownership of market share in the beverage category a little bit later in their updated investor presentation. Now, with that being said, this will mark the largest and most significant product drop for the company to date, and significantly increase their exposure in the Ontario Cannabis Store. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Ontario is by far the most populated province here in Canada and represents the biggest market opportunity in terms of the cannabis space. So in total, MLCL is releasing 7 new SKUs as part of this press release. If you click on the image there, you can see the new branding and the new flavors. So they've got products under the Embody, Fresh, Canajo, and Proper banners. So really does span the category quite nicely. We're going to take a closer look at each one of these brands and the target audience or segment they're really trying to appeal to in a second here, you guys. But again, huge product development for the team at MLCL Holdings. And if we continue to scroll through this article, you can see some of the flavors and specific highlights called out in the press release here. So the Embody brand focuses on trend-setting ingredients, unique flavor profiles, high CBD inputs. So this is one we covered in our previous video. And they're now introducing the Embody Blood Orange Rosemary Sparkling Red Tea and the Embody Mint and Honey Sparkling Green Tea. Under the Fresh banner, this is really going after those price-conscious consumers. So this was created for the low-cost, high-value consumer looking for full THC potency. I actually tried a couple of these out myself. I was very happy with the product. Following the massive success of the Fresh Strawberry Kiwi launch, which we talked about on this channel, which currently holds the #2 best-selling beverage spot in the province of Ontario, Fresh, or the brand, is ready to refresh the sesh, as they're coining it, of consumers with the addition of Fresh Summer Punch. Fresh Strains is the new sister category made for the cannabis enthusiast, and new consumers looking to explore how different and exciting flavors can be without some of the downsides of actually smoking the flower product itself, which include the smoke and obviously the smell. And within this Fresh Strains line, Pineapple Express is going to be the first SKU available with naturally occurring terpenes from the popular Legacy strain. And again, if we click on the highlighted image here, you guys, you can see the launch of the Fresh Summer Punch, which we just talked about, and the new derivative here, Fresh Strains, with the Pineapple Express flavor. Now moving along under the Canajo brand, so this is going to be Canada's first coffee-flavored cannabis-infused beverage, which is super exciting. They're now introducing the Canajo Regular, which offers low THC but high CBD, and Canajo Espresso Spice, which is focused specifically on THC, so it's a 10 milligram serving of THC with no CBD in it. And again, those are shown here, so that's the Canajo Espresso Spice and the Canajo Regular. And then last but not least, you guys, so MLCL is also pleased to share that its brand partner Proper, so this is one of those third-party agreements, has expanded its product offering. They're now introducing Blueberry Pomegranate, and this is really going to complement the brand or the flavor they already have in market, which is obviously Lemon Lime. So they're now going to have a total of 2 different SKUs or 2 different flavors in the marketplace moving into summer. And that's another thing we called out in our last video here, you guys. Obviously spring, summertime, that's when people really turn to beverages in a big way. So it's crucially important that MLCL has these SKUs in stores. They get consumers awareness and attention going into these high volume or high sales months. Now David Reingold, who's the CEO of MLCL, goes on to say, "We are excited to finally launch all of our new SKUs to the Ontario Cannabis Store, Ontario retailers and consumers effective April 5th. The team has been readying retailers in advance of this release, so that's what we talked about in our last video. We expect the drinks will be in high demand based on their unique features and flavors. The company has planned a number of marketing events and store pop-ups to ensure customers and bud tenders understand the products, flavors, and brand promise." So again, part of that big launch strategy or initiative to get these brands front and center in terms of retailers and consumers going into the summer months. So now that we've taken a look at the big release here from the team at MLCL, I wanted to jump over to the company website and take a closer look at the brands which we just mentioned in yesterday's press release. So Fresh, this was our first brand to market. This is the cannabis culture brand, so creating products for the legacy consumers at affordable price points. So again, going after those price conscious customers. Fresh products are made to complement sessions through strain pairing or replicating. So some of the features here, you guys, full THC, bold flavors, no sugar added or low sugar options. They've then got Embody. So Embody is passionate about changing the conversation about wellness. So this is a more naturally focused drink. Again, focused around teas or sparkling teas, things like that. High CBD here, so up to 40 milligrams per serving. Functional ingredients and delicious carbonated flavors or flat or still alternatives. And there you can actually see the blood orange and rosemary red tea or the honey mint green tea, which we just talked about in that press release. Canajo, this is the one that I'm super excited about, you guys. Again, there's so many customers or consumers out there that really turn to coffee or caffeinated drinks on a regular basis. So Canajo really appeals to that segment. It's a coffee-styled beverage line, offering options to all coffee consumers from regular drive-through style to barista served or more specialty flavors or profiles. So this is nitro infused here, you guys. This is the first nitro infused cannabis drink here in Canada. Naturally occurring caffeine, about 30 milligrams per serving, and a range of THC options or potency from low to high, depending on the mood or situation of the consumer. And then last but not least, we have Klon. So Klon is really focused on serving the female category or subcategory within the cannabis space. And as you can see, they're focused on filling the missing gap of female-friendly cannabis-infused beverages to encourage more women to make the switch from alcohol to cannabis. And this is something we talked about in one of the macro trends here, you guys. We're starting to see a lot of people really switch to cannabis-infused beverages over alcohol for a number of different reasons. One of them being the onset and offset time. Another one, obviously, the lack of hangover. So these are focused on cannabis mocktails, mid-level potency, balance of both THC and CBD. And then you can see again there, no hangover, which is a huge perk for people, obviously, that are consuming these beverages. And then as mentioned, they do serve a number of third-party or partner brands. So Proper was also included in that press release, Via Regal, and UBU. So really quite an impressive portfolio of brands and SKUs that are now available to the public. Again, going into the highest season for sales being spring and summer. So a huge congratulations to the team at MLCL Holdings. This is one that I'm going to be adding to in my personal portfolio. Now, before I let you go, I did want to jump into the updated investor presentation and talk about a few of the other reasons why I'm so bullish on MLCL in this category overall moving into the summer months. So this slide here really talks about some of the macro trends we're seeing in the marketplace or some of the potential catalysts for the beverage category overall. So number one here, you guys, the potential to increase the 10 milligram per THC can limit. So as you can see right now, THC potency is capped out at 10 milligrams per serving or cans. So if the Canadian government does move or increase that limit, obviously that's going to be a big catalyst for the beverage category. The other one here is the allowance for wider retail sales of CBD-based beverages, so getting these into new retailers or new store locations for people to purchase. This is one that we're already seeing develop here, so increasing the carry limit beyond 5 cans. This is currently out for public consultation here in Canada, so this would actually allow consumers to carry more than 5 cans on their person, and the potential for cannabis products to be sold at different events or venues. So this has recently been approved for festivals here in Alberta, and as you can imagine, this would be a major development for the beverage space. Obviously, people going to festivals, music events, social gatherings, things like that are highly prone to consume drinks, whether it's alcohol or cannabis infused. The allowance to include wider range of ingredients, so this is going to look to expand the flavor profiles or different SKUs available to the market. And then the final point here, you guys, is really about increasing awareness and normalization of cannabis beverages in mainstream society. So as more and more people start to experiment with this category, the word is going to spread and people are going to want to try these products out. And hopefully the goal here is to really relax some of the regulation around advertising in this category. So again, these are macro trends or catalysts for the beverage space overall. Obviously, MLCL Holdings, as a major player in the cannabis-infused space here in Canada, would benefit if any one of these catalysts came to fruition. And I personally expect we're going to see a number of developments in this space over the next couple of quarters. Now, this slide here is also super interesting. This really compares MLCL's market share to some of the other major players here in Canada. So specifically in the province of Ontario, which again represents the biggest opportunity here in Canada, you can see currently MLCL represents about 8.9% market share, which is directly on par with the Valens company. Now, Valens is one we've talked about on this channel at lengths. I've actually sold out of my position in Valens in favor of MLCL. And it's super interesting when you look at the market share here, you guys, because when you look at Valens' market cap compared to MLCL, MLCL really only represents a fraction of what you see with Valens. So MLCL is trading in the 14 million market cap range, whereas Valens is worth hundreds of millions in terms of market cap, and they've really had a strong emphasis on the beverage category for a number of years now. So MLCL being on par with them is really encouraging to me, especially considering the market cap you're paying for this company or where shares shares are currently trading. Now you can see some of the bigger players here. So Hexo, Canopy Growth, High Park. Obviously this category is super exciting and a lot of people want involved. Now if you look out to the projected Ontario market share, so this is going to be based on the addition of those 7 new SKUs we just covered in today's video. You can see MLCL is now projecting 19% market share compared to Valens, which they actually project to lose market share over the next couple of months. So this again is super encouraging. This is going to put MLCL in line with some of the biggest players in this space. So Canopy Growth at 25%, Hexo at 28%, and again really shows how excited consumers are about these products, about the flavors, and the different brands and SKUs that MLCL is bringing to market. And obviously with more SKUs, more brands, and more sales, that's going to bode extremely well for the financials at MLCL Holdings. And this is the last thing I wanted to cover in today's video, you guys, because this is a major development. You can see by Q3 of this year, so 2022, the company is expecting to be cash flow positive. And this is a massive milestone for any of these smaller micro cap companies. You can see unit sales per quarter. They're expecting to be in the range of about 600,000 by Q3 of 2022 and close to 800,000 by Q4. In terms of actual dollars, that equates to just over $2 million in Q3 alone and about $2.5 to $3 million in Q4 of 2022. So super excited to see if these sales and market share projections come to fruition here, you guys. But again, a ton to be excited about with MLCL Holdings. An absolutely massive development with the launch of these new SKUs. And this is a company I would definitely put on your watch list, you guys. If you have some spare money kicking around and you want exposure to the cannabis space, specifically beverages here in Canada, this is definitely one I would take a look at. And again, this is one I'm actively adding to in my personal accounts. So for those reasons, again, super excited about MLCL Holdings, ticker symbol MLCL on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you're currently holding shares in MLCL, what you thought about yesterday's news, and how you think this company stacks up to some of the competition, specifically the Valens company in this space. If you're not currently subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And if you're still watching the video at this point in time, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button before you leave. That's all for now. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.